Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's 12/14/2023 on a Thursday, and this podcast originally I was going to put on Patreon or Subscribestar, but I decided against that, and if anyone wants to support this channel, they can. There's links in the description. And anyways, so we have a narrator that's going to introduce each section here, and take it away, Mr. Narrator.
It's time. Destiny is about to be financially but plundered. A financially bank gaping, if you will. A wallet violation of double penetrating action. A over the barrel. Oh, you get the point. While she steals his money, she'll also be taking her new Twinkie Pinky to Pound Town. And he'll pay for their new life together. This is why you don't do open relationships, ladies and gentlemen.
Of course, what Destiny is looking at with this divorce is, you'll have to pay monthly until she gets married or finds a job, but that's not the case because you might have to pay 10 years of alimony. Let's see, there is a financial affidavit when he got married because she's an immigrant. So he's financially responsible for her, and this is enforced by law. So at the very minimum, he might have to pay $18,000 a year for 10 years, and he might lose half his shit in Bitcoin or whatever else. And so if essentially this comes out to, she'll be making $1,500 a month. And I don't mean to revel in someone's this fucking sucks, regardless of whatever side of the political aisle you're on. But Destiny is a guy who, if he had his way, he would have conservatives put up against the wall and, executed by the state. And this is a guy who, why he's in this position is because he's in an open relationship. And, of course, someone came along that was better, made her laugh, was more charming, and he lost his girl. And this is why you don't do open relationships, ladies and gentlemen. So not only, as we said, as narrator said in the intro, he's essentially going to be paying $1,500 in alimony, might lose half his shit, while she continues to bang and boink this other guy. And of course, he's trying to pretend, he announced, he did a stream about this where he's trying to cope exclusively with this, but it's this is why traditional, relationships and why monogamy has worked for thousands of years. And my own personal ideology and what I've been brought up with, if you marry someone, you're with them until death do you part, in sickness and in health. So I'm from this old black and white era as things have changed this day and age, but if it was me, if I marry someone that's damn well going to be my partner, there will be no disloyalty, period. And divorce happens, and everyone harps on, oh, you think homosexuals and other relationships ruin marriage? You people get divorced a lot. But divorce happens, and people discover things about someone they married, but that's why you make sure when you marry someone, you discover everything about them, their history. But an open relationship only complicates things, and more than likely someone's gonna get fucking hurt bad with that, and that's why you don't do it. In my humble opinion, if you have no value in yourself to that extent, if you're letting someone abuse you and betray you on the daily, and they're supposed to come home and you're supposed to be like, oh, hey, what's up, honey? That shit isn't gonna work. It's your human nature. You're gonna get envious. You're gonna get hateful, and that's what's gonna happen. That's why this shit doesn't work. And that's why, even from a Christian standpoint, I'm against, multiple marriages, like the Mormon fundamentalists do. That's pretty fucking degenerate as well. So I'm not excusing, certain Christian sects from, okaying that. That's haram too. So, I mean, according to the Bible, there's instances in the way past where, I think Abraham might have had 2 wives, and there's concubines. I think Solomon had, a literally stable of housewives. And that's totally different era, totally different time, and that kind of was done away with in the New Testament and so on and so forth. So enough of that ideology. Let's move to the next section. Take it away, Mr. Narrator. What do we have next?
Which is essentially a softcore porn site masquerading as gaming streams. and YouTube will also follow suit in time. The degrading and introduction of sexual material to younger people.
And indeed, Twitch. So the big drama about Twitch recently is that artistic nudity is now A-OK. So boobs, ass, and knob can be all in display as long as it's in an artistic fashion. Now, as from what I'm writing in the script, there's already been, as soon as these went live, these new community guidelines went live, there's already been an immediate influx of degenerate furry porn. So yes, that's what's happening on Twitch. I fucking personally hate Twitch. I don't even watch the people I like on Twitch. Specifically for the reason that it's so degenerate and it's so softcore porn. And the problem with this, and what people have an issue with this, is it introduces young men and young teens and women, girls, boys and girls, into a sexually charged nature. And most of these Twitch thoughts, that's what they are. That's what I'm going to call them. If you don't like it, get the fuck off this podcast. But there's these... So they have links to their OnlyFans and other highly sexual content. Now, if you're over 18 and you want to indulge, that's on you. But the issue with this is the degradation of moral fabric and introducing children younger and younger to more haram content. And YouTube is also doing the same thing. They're moving their ad-friendly content or the community guidelines. So what they're now allowing is twerking, suggestive dancing, and breastfeeding content, which, okay, that's a little weird. But hey, but this is just strange because now this is ad-friendly content. So again, we have this suggestive, sexualized content being introduced to YouTube. Now, I know YouTube has not for kids and for kids, and you can age gate videos, and at least YouTube has that. But what we're seeing with Twitch and YouTube is the kind of same thing we're seeing with society introducing children to Drag Time Story Hour and all this other degenerate filth that children do not need to be fucking introduced to. But then again, the people who are pushing this are degenerate filth and predators more times than not. And this isn't a matter of freedom of speech. I guess technically that falls under the realm of freedom of speech, porn, dancing, and all this shit. But at one point, you have to have some form of moral decorum. Whether you're a Christian or even agnostic or atheist, you have to think at some point, yeah, it's probably a bad idea to introduce this kind of filth to children at such a young age. That's going to cause psychological damage, scarring, and it's going to ruin their life. And even adults who are 18 plus who indulge in this, it's ruining their life and tearing them up. And of course, with that, I'll close out this section. And of course, narrator, what is the next section, champ? What do we got?
Now an opinion from a man who voice acts a Joker and plays a space wizard. A man who led a studio ruin and raped the character of Luke Skywalker.
So, of course, what this is in reference to, Mark Hamill says, and I quote, "We are the greatest country in the world, but we have the greatest gun problem in the world. No other nation comes close." This is in comparison to the Middle East, Afghanistan, Iraq, and here's some interesting cultural knowledge for you. In Iraq, they have something called a blood debt. So, which means if I kill your family member, you are now legally okayed to kill one of my family members in retaliation. Now, the Middle East, of course, has tons of guns. We're talking Africa, Egypt, Iraq, Iran, Lebanon, Israel, of course, there's shit going on there, and of course with ISIS. So to say that America has the biggest gun problem is kind of a misnomer, but of course, Mark Hamill followed this up with the usual, right? He quotes all these stats and statistics and figures to kind of encourage the disarming of you, so you have your tender ass over a barrel for a criminal or oppressive government regime to really, pound your ham cheeks into schnitzel meat. And that's just so ironic because, of course, he plays Luke Skywalker, right? The Jedi Knight that fights against oppression. And what is it the rebels need to fight the stormtroopers and the evil empire? Blasters. laser guns. And you can't honestly tell me that in the lore of Star Wars that the Empire probably was heavy on the gun laws and common sense gun laws and red flag laws, right? Of course. Because they want to control everyone. But in that aspect, you have the Rebel Alliance, which are basically left wing extremists anyway. So I don't know. In my personal opinion, with Star Wars, I like the Empire. Because stormtroopers are fucking cool and the Sith's cool. But that's just my fictional preference there. But anyways, it's just funny how a man who probably has secrets, like his own security, lives in the hills of Beverly Hills, and he's telling you that you need to fucking disarm because idiots are killing each other in other parts of the country and that you should be defenseless because he finds that distasteful. Now, of course, in America, our rights don't end where other people's feelings begin, at least so far. We'll have to see. But anyways, hopefully you found this podcast interesting. Those are just the 3 things I wanted to touch upon. And of course, if you found this entertaining, interesting, and you enjoyed my take, there's links in the description down below if you want to support the channel. If not, that's fine too. And by the way, if you did watch this far or listen this far into the podcast and enjoy it, leave a like and a comment. That also helps as well. Thank you. You are an awesome human being. And again, hopefully you enjoyed this. There will be more podcasts like this in the future where I have notes and it's more controlled and organized. And I basically want to have more production value if possible. Hopefully there's tons of production value in this for you guys. But if not, sorry. But yeah, this is just 3 things: Destiny's open relationship, Twitch, YouTube, Mark Hamill, and this gun stance. And yeah, of course, but then again, that's Hollywood, and most of these assholes want you to be defenseless and just defenseless and vulnerable because you have a power that they don't. With all their money and riches and power, they still can't control you. And that's why we need the Second Amendment, and that's why you should also own a gun. So people with more money than you can oppress you. Anyways, sorry about that. See you next time. God bless. Stay happy, stay healthy, and happy holidays and Merry Christmas. And see you next time.